When most people think of a rainforest, they picture trees, animals, and endless green. But here's something you might not realize. Rainforests are living systems that keep the planet running. Some of these forests are over 70 million years old. They've seen species rise and vanish, continents shift, and climates change. And yet, they are still here, working quietly in the background. From the sky, they look like a single sheet of green. But step inside, and it's an entirely different world, a layered city of life. Sunlight barely reaches the ground, the air is heavy with water, and everything seems alive, from the leaves to the soil itself. Rainforests don't just exist for animals and trees, they affect every human life, including yours, whether you live in a city apartment or a desert town. We'll come back to how, but first, let's explore how this green engine works. The canopy, or the top layer of the rainforest, is like the busiest street in a vertical city. It's where 80% of sunlight is captured and where most of the visible life happens. Animals here are adapted to life without ever touching the ground. Sloths can spend up to 90% of their lives in trees, moving so slowly that algae grows on their fur. Toucans and macaws patrol the skies, spreading seeds as they fly. Even some frogs live their entire lives in tree holes filled with rainwater. The canopy isn't just for animals, it's a climate shield. It keeps the forest floor cooler, traps moisture, and even softens rainfall before it hits the ground. Without it, the forest wouldn't survive long dry seasons or heavy storms. Rainforests are often called biodiversity hotspots, but that doesn't capture how extreme they are. They cover only 6% of the Earth, but over half of the world's species live here. Many species are still unknown. In the Amazon alone, scientists estimate 10% of species haven't been discovered yet. Some insects live their entire life cycle on a single tree. A single hectare of rainforest can hold more tree species than the entire US. This extreme diversity also makes rainforests a natural pharmacy. 25% of modern medicines come from plants found here. Even the rosy periwinkle from Madagascar has been used to develop treatments for leukemia. When you hear the hum of insects or the distant calls of monkeys, you're not just hearing wildlife. You're listening to a biological factory that supports life far beyond the forest. Rainforests don't just rely on rain. They create it. Trees pull water from the ground and release it into the air through transpiration. Billions of leaves doing this at once create invisible clouds that form rainfall. This isn't just local. In the Amazon, the forest produces so much water vapor that it affects rainfall patterns on other continents. Some scientists say the forest even helps regulate hurricanes by controlling how heat and moisture move across oceans. Every storm, every foggy morning, is a sign of this massive water engine at work. If you drink coffee in Brazil or rice from Southeast Asia, there's a good chance rainforest rain helped it grow, even if you never set foot here. Rainforests are home to millions of people, including over 400 indigenous groups in the Amazon alone. For them, the forest is not just nature. It's home, supermarket, and pharmacy all in one. A single vine can be medicine for fevers. A bird's call can warn of predators or signal food nearby. Even fish migration patterns are tracked by reading river changes that outsiders wouldn't notice. Modern science is only starting to understand what these communities have known for centuries. In many ways, their knowledge of the forest is as sophisticated as any laboratory study. because it's built on generations of daily survival. To these people, the rainforest isn't an environmental concept. It's simply life. Daytime in a rainforest is busy, but nighttime? That's when an entirely new city wakes up. As the sun disappears, the forest changes its rhythm. Predators like jaguars and clouded leopards prowl silently through the underbrush. Tree frogs begin their high-pitched calls, and bioluminescent fungi glow faintly on the forest floor. Even the air smells different at night, thicker, damp, filled with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers that only open after dark. This shift isn't just dramatic, it's critical. Many rainforest species are nocturnal, avoiding the intense daytime heat. Bats pollinate flowers and spread seeds, while nocturnal insects become the first link in the nighttime food chain. It's easy to forget that this is not just darkness. It's the other half of life here, a half we rarely see. Rainforests feel remote, but your life is connected to them in ways that aren't obvious. About 20% of the oxygen we breathe comes from the Amazon. Rainforests help store massive amounts of carbon, moderating global temperatures. The water they release into the atmosphere can travel thousands of miles, influencing rainfall in regions where food is grown. Even if you never visit one, your breakfast might have rainforest fingerprints on it. Coffee, chocolate, bananas, spices, all rely on the climate stability these forests help maintain. Here's a surprising detail. Some scientists say Sahara desert dust, yes, dust, travels across the Atlantic and fertilizes the Amazon. That means the health of a rainforest in South America depends on a desert in Africa. This is how interlinked our planet really is. Rainforest creatures that seem almost imaginary. Amazon's flooded forest. The flying snake in Southeast Asia glides from tree to tree like a living ribbon. Leafcutter ants carry pieces of leaves larger than their bodies, building underground farms of fungus they harvest like crops. And here's a mind-bending fact. Scientists estimate 1.5 million species of fungi exist in rainforests, but over 90% haven't been classified yet. Any one of these undiscovered species could hold the key to new medicines, materials, or scientific breakthroughs. In a way, rainforests are Earth's greatest library, and we've only read the first few pages. Rainforests are not just alive, they are archives of time. Some trees here have lived for over 1,000 years, silently recording every drought, flood, and storm in their rings. Layers of soil hide pollen and seeds from centuries ago, letting scientists trace how the forest has changed through time. Ancient civilizations thrived here too. The remains of the Khmer Empire in Cambodia and Mayan temples in Central America remind us that people and rainforests have been entangled for millennia. The forest doesn't just survive history, it holds it. Every fallen leaf and every decaying branch becomes part of a cycle that has repeated for millions of years, long before we ever started paying attention. When you look at a rainforest, you're seeing more than trees and rivers. You're seeing how life works when it's left to its fullest expression. These forests are living mirrors of the planet, complex, interconnected, resilient, yet fragile in ways we're only starting to understand. For most of human history, rainforests have quietly shaped the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even the food we grow. And for millions of species, including us, they're still the beating heart of the earth. Understanding that connection isn't about fear or guilt, it's about perspective. Because once you see how much of life depends on this green network, you can't help but feel a little more human. Thanks for watching.